Broadcasting from the heart of Blue City Capital, our scriptwriters are working around the clock with White House publicists and unelected global organizations to gaslight you by using good-looking and soulless puppets to deliver the messages we want you to believe. This is Blue City News.
Good evening and welcome back to Blue City News. I'm vapid alcoholic.
And I'm abusive narcissist.
Breaking news. Just hours ago, a large ocean liner collided right into the bank and securities tower, causing the massive skyscraper to be evacuated. Nepotism Air is on the scene.
I don't look shiny, do I? Oh man, check that out. Damn girl, you're killing me with that ass.
Nepotism, you're live. Can you hear me?
That ass is juicy. I totally want to
We're sorry about that. We'll come back to him once we get those technical issues resolved.
This infrastructure disaster is just the latest in what critics are calling the results of bad leadership and misplaced priorities.
That's why we have Gay Transportation Secretary here with us live via satellite. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Secretary. I appreciate you taking the time for us. All this criticism of your leadership seems unfair. How do you cope with the stress?
That's a good question. You know, it's hard sometimes. Everyone is always expecting me to show up to work and do my job, so I try to get massages and manicures. Sometimes I go shopping or fly to some random island. It's not easy, but what the American people really care about is that I'm gay. My sexual preference is my whole identity. People can be comforted that their transportation secretary has sex with men.
It must be so hard for you, but you're not alone. I'm so sorry to ask, but what would you say to the American people who feel they are in danger?
I don't know. Climate change and white supremacy.
Okay, I'm told that our feed to Nepotism Air is working again. Thank you, Mr. Secretary, for joining us. We go back to Blue City Bay Live.
I'm down here in the heart of the chaos where a massive ocean liner crashed right into the 40th floor just hours ago. Workers at the bank and securities tower had to evacuate, and many are in a state of shock.
I'm still shaking.
I knew this was going to happen.
There's a lot of confusion and chaos among the survivors here, with many asking how this could happen.
They installed a jet-propelled ramp aimed directly at the building just 2 days ago and painted a bullseye on the side of the building.
Some conspiracy theorists are pointing the finger at the diversity ramp just recently built to celebrate our greatest strength, saying there could literally be no other purpose than to launch ships into the air toward downtown. But officials are dismissing that as white supremacy talking points.
It makes me sad that people are blaming the jet-propelled ship-launching diversity ramp for this tragedy. I don't think this is the time to inject politics. Clearly, this was caused by white supremacy and climate change.
Officials here are optimistic that they can get the diversity ramp repositioned to aim at Pfister Sports Arena in just a few days. As for those in the bank and securities tower, the death toll is still being tallied, but hundreds at least are in need of urgent medical care.
You can't feel safe anywhere.
Federal emergency response teams are on the scene. They have set up care stations where they are handing out pamphlets on proper pronoun usage and how to avoid microaggressions.
We're doing everything we can to turn the tragedy into an opportunity to educate people. Pronouns matter, and to anyone watching at home, this is your fault for being white. You need to vote to give us more money and restrict your freedoms, or more of this kind of thing could happen.
So make sure you pick up your pamphlet here at the disaster site, or you can visit the website on your screen to make a donation to your corrupt politicians directly. With WSA-10 Blue City News, I'm Nepotism Air.
With this tragedy adding to the national death toll caused by white supremacy and climate change, the White House has vowed to send $200 billion tax dollars in aid to Ukraine in response.
Teachers and union reps are rallying for this year's excuse to raise your property taxes by promoting Proposition 727, otherwise known as the Children's Continuing Equity Bill. Distractingly Attractive is at the teachers' union headquarters with the story.
There's an air of excitement here at the NEA offices, where they've announced that Prop 727 will be on the ballot this next election.
Once again, our schools are under attack by people who are just filled with hate. That is why you must vote yes on Prop 727.
I think if you don't vote for this, you probably are racist and want all black and brown kids to die.
I really need a scooter to get anywhere.
This poor girl can no longer get around on her own. Like most of her classmates, her legs were amputated as a result of the program approved by voters when they overwhelmingly passed last year's controversial Prop 678, the Children's Equity Act. The act, meant to combat generational trauma suffered by shorter people, mandated that all children cannot cannot grow taller than 5 foot 5 inches. Anyone taller will be medically mutilated.
It's far more equitable this way. It's not right that only the tall kids could look over the fence at us, so now none of them can.
But now it's raised another need. No one predicted that amputating the kids' legs would mean that they couldn't walk anymore.
Since we mutilated all the children, they now have trouble getting to classes on time. They need these special scooters so they can resume mobility.
We're counting on our most loyal demographic, smug suburban women voters who believe the labels but never actually look into what they vote for, to come through for us again. Every year we manipulate them into giving us more money, and we just use it to hurt their kids. Ha ha ha.
The union bosses here wanted to make it clear that a vote yes for Proposition 727 is a vote for children. If anyone questions why we keep making things worse, it's just because they're racist. Back to you, abusive.
I will definitely be voting yes on Proposition 727 because I don't hate children.
Same here. My friends and I always vote yes for schools. Giving them more money every year is definitely going to make the school better. I see absolutely no other possible answer.
Well, of course you don't, vapid alcoholic.
Speaking of equity, the Sewage Treatment Center is having trouble filling vital roles. After last year, they announced that all sewage worker positions would be 50% female. Workflow backups are becoming a problem, and recruiters are desperate.
It's getting bad down here. All our current guys are working overtime and they can't keep up.
It was just a year ago when the entire upper management team at the Sewage Treatment Center were fired after a slew of false sexual assault allegations and replaced with college graduates with no experience. Dunning-Kruger was appointed as director for the center and mandated a DEI protocol.
We really needed to address the toxic masculinity problem here in the plant. Our plant workers were 99% male.
Unfortunately, though, they can't seem to find enough women to fill the new quota.
We keep lowering and lowering hiring standards, but women just don't want to apply.
We're still dealing with some challenges. It's clear that men have dominated this space for so long that women feel unwelcome. We're aiming to change that.
In addition to offering hiring bonuses for any woman that applies, they guarantee they will hire you on site.
The rules are that I can't hire a man unless I hire a woman, so we literally have zero standards. We will take any female, no questions asked. We won't even make you do any work. Just stand around and collect a paycheck if you want. We're desperate.
Dunning-Kruger has said that unless we blame and humiliate men more, women won't feel welcome.
Until we defeat toxic masculinity, people will just have to deal with sewage backups a little while longer. Men are just terrible, and this is all their fault.
It's reassuring that our public officials are really focusing on what is important. Hopefully, all you men in the audience feel collective guilt for the decisions of our incompetent leaders.
As a response to the crisis, leaders have voted to give themselves a 75% pay raise and institute mandatory man-hating classes for every male employee. That should get the trash cleared up quickly. Inflation has been on the minds of a lot of Americans as more people are struggling to afford food and rent. Our new investigative reporter, Sexy Script Reader, has looked into the situation, and it's not as bad as you think.
Meat, veggies, bread, eggs, and even milk have more than tripled in price in the last 4 years. Gas is fluctuating between a 60% to a 160% increase. Rent is also up 60% on average. So with these extremely high numbers, people are wondering how the government can say inflation is only 3%.
Every time I buy groceries, I want to cry.
We've completely drained our savings account.
Everyone I know had to get a second job or some kind of gig work on the side just to get by.
So when the government tells you inflation is only 3%, what does that mean to you?
I guess that's good news, but my grocery bill has increased a lot more than 3%, so I don't understand how they can say that.
And this confusion is exactly what billionaires and political leaders have been counting on. I was able to sit down with some of the members of the Biden administration to add some clarity to the conversation.
Because our administration thinks you're stupid. The inflation percentage number that we give you doesn't include things that matter to you like food prices, gas, and housing. And it's what we call core inflation, just how the job numbers are massaged to tell a false story. Inflation reporting is designed to gaslight you into thinking that what you're experiencing isn't real.
Something most people don't understand is that inflation only hurts the poor and middle class. us millionaires love inflation. Inflation leads to an increase in stock prices and real estate values, which are the two main types of investments for millionaires like me.
I think it's ridiculous that you asked me about inflation. As the White House press secretary, I'm not obligated to talk to the press, so this interview is over.
And there you have it. So next time you hear a celebrity or millionaire TV personality tell you that the economy is great, it's because it is. For them. With W. Satan Blue City News, I'm Sexy Script Reader.
Thanks, Sexy. Great reporting, just well done. I think you have a bright future here at Blue City News.
In the ongoing story regarding the terrorist group that claims to have smuggled at least 3 suitcase nukes into the U.S. through the open southern border, a new video was released demanding the Biden administration take action or else.
We demand that the Biden administration immediately cease all aid to Israel and end the slaughter in Gaza. You have 1 week or we will detonate one of our nuclear devices in a major American city.
FBI and Homeland Security are on high alert and, in response, are printing and distributing more pamphlets on proper pronoun usage and how to fight white supremacy. Everyone is encouraged to visit their local offices to get their stack to distribute as well. Homeland Security Chief Alexander Mayorkas announced today, "The border is and always has been secure. The paranoia that people feel is because of their white supremacy." President Biden made a statement today regarding the matter.
If you want to blow up a city, go ahead. I just dare you. Don't force me to declare a state of martial law and cancel the elections this fall. I don't give a damn how many Americans have to die for me to stay in power. Because I'll do it. You think I'm kidding, but I'm not.
After Biden's announcement, members of the Red and Orange team immediately railed against this response, claiming he is going to kill millions. Blue team representative Legs and Butt responded, warning against violent racism.
The violent and hateful rhetoric from representatives on the Red and Orange team are the real danger. This incident has already increased hate crimes against Black and brown bodies by 1,000 billion % just in the last week. And even though I just made that up, you have to pretend it's real or you're racist too.
So remember to do what we always do. Use this crisis to divide the American people. Make sure you go on social media and quote Rep Legs and Butts hate crime statistics as though it was real so we can really get people fighting.
In the ongoing battle against white supremacy, the battle against the patriarchy sometimes gets forgotten. Several weeks ago, we reported on a young woman who was fighting to bring awareness to the everyday inconveniences of life experienced by women and blamed them on men for money.
Richa Brad is making the news again with her new line of merchandise designed to empower privileged Western women who feel oppressed. Distractingly attractive caught up with the young activist, and she's been very busy.
So how are you? A lot has happened since we last spoke, hasn't it?
It's been a struggle, to be honest. We've been traveling around the world, and everywhere we go, the room service is terrible. Housekeepers are slow. Sometimes I actually have to wait in line. And the other day, there was no cinnamon sugar for my tea. Just cinnamon and sugar separate. I mean, it's ridiculous how the patriarchy keeps oppressing us.
So is that what inspired you to do the clothing line?
Oh no, that was my dad's idea. His attorneys figured out how we can make a lot of money by using my fake struggles. That's how we decided the best gimmick was to make sure all of our products are made by female slave labor. Products made for slaves of the patriarchy, by slaves of the patriarchy.
In what is a genius marketing scheme, they figured out that they can manufacture clothing with cringeworthy feminist slogans while exploiting girls overseas who will work for almost nothing.
It works for Nike and Apple, so why not us? It's not like the hardships of women in third world countries matter. We just care about first world problems. My dad says that's where the money is.
How soon until we see you on the Forbes list of most successful women?
I just want to do my part to make sure everyone thinks my life is really hard and use my story to attack the men in their lives while making lots of money.
Keep up the great work. We're all cheering for you.
Okay, thanks.
And great reminder that it's important that we respect and honor the contributions of women. No matter who you are, you're beautiful and perfect. Blue City News will always fight for you.
It's always nice to end the show with a feel-good story. That young woman is a true inspiration to women with a bunch of money propping them up.
Before we close out tonight's broadcast, we want to wish a very special happy birthday to our very own Distractingly Attractive.
Happy birthday!
It seems like just yesterday that you joined our team, and we've loved having you here.
Thank you, everyone. It's been a great few years working with you all, and this is a great birthday surprise.
We all appreciate the great work you've done, and that's why it's unfortunate that you're turning 24 today. And that's getting just a little too old for a woman in showbiz. So I'm afraid it's time we said goodbye.
It's a shame that so many young women have to age out like that. Too bad she couldn't marry a rich, ugly guy who could use his influence to force her career down everyone's throats like I did.
It's really all about connections rather than hard work and talent. Distractingly knew that. We'll miss her, and we wish her nothing but success.
That's all the news we have for you today. We thank you once again for being a loyal viewer.
That's right. Without you, we would still be on the air because we're propped up by big pharma money and government grants, but we pretend to care about you anyway.
So until next time, thanks for watching.
Bye for now. See you again soon.